Coming to a theater near you. The August 26th fight between Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor will now be shown at select movie theaters across the country. The broadcast will be identical to the one that you will see on Showtime, with one key difference. The pay-per-view is going to cost about $100. Tickets to the theater are expected to be about $40. Well, Monty Jones, your reaction to this news?
This right here. This is the reaction that I have to the idea of going to watch this fight around dozens and dozens of strangers, right? Like, we have a clown show. This fight in its entirety is a clown show. The basis through which they're using to sell this fight is racial animus with a hint of misogyny thrown in. Like, these are the variables that we're using in order to sell this fight. And now you are going to tell me that I should go watch this fight in a room where I have no say-so on who comes in, and there is no one particular person for me to trust to sit at the door and make sure that the right people do and do not get in here. I pay an extra $60 to make sure I know who is going to come in, because nothing positive has come from this fight in the beginning. Nothing positive will come from this fight in the end, and the last thing you want to do is be around drunk strangers, because they're not just going to be bringing in their own food, they're bringing flasks too. Like, if I'm running a movie theater, no, I am not having this here. We will show New Jack City before we show this. Guarantee.
But Monty, I kind of want to integrate your movie, boxing, theater-going audience, but the reality is that I saw Spider-Man 3 recently with my brother, and the reason why we watched Spider-Man 3, because there's a chubby Filipino kid who's Spider-Man's sidekick. And if people were booing that chubby Filipino kid in that theater, there would have been some level of violence. So I am with you on the notion of, let's make sure we're diplomatic here. The ingredients at hand.
I mean, totally. The whole thing about this fight is we are tapping into the worst of everyone who's watching this. Like, have you found one person that has said that they are legitimately intrigued by the prospect of one of the greatest boxers of all time against one of the best MMA fighters fighting in a way that he does not fight? Like, have you heard one person that has been interested in the actual fight that we are talking about? Because I haven't heard a soul.
This feels like a multi-level marketing scheme.
Yes.
Like, how many ways can we profit off of a product that will never arrive? And the question that we always have to remind ourselves is, what are they selling? And fundamentally, yes, they're selling homophobia and racism and misogyny. Yes, all that's true. But they're also selling something more elemental to sports, which is the prospect of a great ego being humiliated. And we're not there for Conor McGregor's ego to be humiliated. We're there for Floyd Mayweather's ego to be humiliated. And we're not going to see that.
Right.
We know we're not going to see that. I was at his fight against Canelo Alvarez. I was at his fight against Manny Pacquiao. Jay-Z and Beyonce showed up to watch him fight Manny Pacquiao. Jay-Z and Beyonce left incredibly disappointed, I would imagine, because they saw a lot of one guy hitting air. So the notion of, is this a Ponzi scheme? Well, it is if you think that we're never going to get the thing we're promised, which is the reckoning of Floyd Mayweather. That's just not going to happen.
And that's not coming. And we've talked about this before. Floyd Mayweather went from being Pretty Boy Floyd to being Money Mayweather when? 2008.
Height of what?
Right. When you lost your house,
the recession.
Floyd Mayweather threw
economic recession
into your face.
Yes.
Right. He is the ultimate troll in that regard. Now, of course, the more problematic elements to Floyd go beyond simple trolling, right? Like, there are legitimate reasons to dislike Floyd Mayweather.
Of course.
But that's not what we're selling in the course of this fight. Like, that's not what we have here. So every time I think about the prospect of, like, the idea of going out and watching this fight around strangers, I know how it goes watching regular fights around strangers, right? Before we get into the full clown show element of this one. Everything around this, they have built an amazing spectacle, and it's part of why, regardless of how you feel about Floyd Mayweather, you have to look at how he's delved into this horrible world of boxing, which traffics in horrible things all the time, and he is better at this than anybody else.
He's so good at this. And by the way, Conor McGregor is also really good at this in ways that are terrifying. And why? Because it exposes that what we're here for is the notion of some sort of celebrity athlete insult league. Right. We're just here to watch guys make fun of each other and humiliate each other, or at least attempt to. That's really what we're paying. And by the way, $40 is the cost of going to a theater, apparently, to go and watch this fight. How are those people cleaning up after that audience going to feel after all these people feel defrauded of $40?
First of all, $40 is about what I spend currently myself to go to a movie.
Yeah, Spider-Man 3 was about $25.
Oh, let's be clear, though. We have seen this movie before. Like, I'm not the first person to say it, but this movie was The Great White Hype. Like, we have seen this before, except the Irish guy in this case is actually Irish. Like, honestly, the most pleasing outcome in terms of what is actually likely is a first-round knockout from Floyd Mayweather, which is entirely possible because the other dude isn't a boxer.
Right. Uniquely possible, because if it was a boxer, I would not call a first-round knockout.
Right. And I was talking to my buddy Corey Erdman, who doesn't work at Showtime with boxing, and he made a great point about this. Floyd does not stand for very much, but he does stand for the sanctity of boxing. That is one of the few things in this world that he actually stands for.
We know what's going to happen. There's going to be great electricity because there is no electricity like the electricity before a big fight. That is for sure. But then we're going to see a lot of shoulder rolling. We're going to see a lot of Floyd Mayweather picking his spots, and we're going to see a lot of Conor McGregor hitting nothing.
Or is Floyd going to knock him out? Because what does Floyd have to do? All that other stuff is against professional boxers, right? Like, you do need to be the guy that he is. You need to do all the shoulder rolling and everything else. This dude is legitimately an amateur at boxing. He's not an amateur fighter, but he's an amateur boxer. Floyd can dodge one or two of these and make this quick work.
That's actually the best pitch for this fight that I've heard. Watch Floyd Mayweather
now I'm selling this
knock
fight.
someone out because that dude can't do that in his own sport.
I've never seen it with my own eyes.
All right, so if we are under the impression that this is all pageantry, it doesn't speak very highly of us as a society, of us as a sports-consuming population.
Yep.
That, again, there is so much interest in this that movie theaters have this option.
Yeah, but stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to when you picked that theater. That's all I'm going to tell you.